What's up, guys? In this video, we're going to be reacting to the Blue Jasmine No Jumper interview. If you're not familiar with what the fuck I'm talking about, Blue Jasmine is a sugar baby who's gotten really viral in the last few weeks for having her simp of an ex-boyfriend pay her bills after they broke up. And this whole thing has made quite a stir in various platforms. So we're going to take a look at an extremely outrageous portion of the interview, and we're going to give our 2 cents on this whole situation. And Rhaegar is going to speak to it as well. All right, so before we jump into the interview, let me give a little bit of context. So this is already after 2 or 3 weeks of her going viral. So at this point, she's somewhat of a quote-unquote celebrity, and she's on the No Jumper podcast, which is actually a podcast that I like a lot. She's being interviewed by this guy, Adam22, and this is a clip after they had been discussing this whole thing for a little bit. And it fucking boggles my mind how literally your whole accomplishment can be is that you found some dude who is a fucking retard to pay for your bills, and now you're famous and you get all this media attention, whereas other people have to work their way up to be able to get on these interviews. But okay, whatever. That's the world we live in. So without further ado, let's jump into the clip.
Last week again, I was coming back from Miami from the Fresh and Fit podcast. I was
fuck either of those guys?
Huh?
You fuck those guys?
Ew, like what? No.
Why ew?
Because I honestly,
I like that part. He's like, you fuck any of the Fresh and Fit guys? And she's just like, ew. We'll just leave it at that.
yeah, I'm not going to say that. Forget it.
What?
But no, if you,
You gave
cut,
Myron
would
a
you
hand
cut
job?
it out? Ew,
No.
like what? Like, no, I'm not,
Okay.
like, yeah. I feel like unless it's financial, men don't, it's hard for me to get turned on by a man. Like, to me, it's like, yeah, no, I'm good. You know what I
Really?
mean? Yeah, like, unless, I think, like, even watching a man spend his money, like, recently I was at the strip club, and watching a man spend his money even on other women turns me on. You know what I mean?
All right, so this is quite fucked up. I mean, literally, she is only able to get turned on when a man spends money on her. Like, her fucking brain circuitry has literally been fried. This is like some extreme evolved version of a sugar baby. This is like if a sugar baby had a baby with another sugar baby and that was cloned and shit, it comes out with the ultimate sugar baby. And that's kind of what it seems like she is, where literally she's getting turned on by a man spending money, and she can't get turned on if a man doesn't. So this is pretty fucking crazy.
Just like, it makes me feel like, wow, like you're a boss.
I think you need therapy.
Fuck you.
I mean, I'm just serious.
I mean, I 100% agree. Like, she definitely does need therapy. If your brain has gotten this fucked up where you literally need a man to spend money for you to get turned on, then you probably do need therapy or something, because that's not a healthy mindset to have.
Like, you have to.
Why do I need therapy for getting what I want just for living?
Okay. If you're a woman who could get turned on by a guy for other reasons.
If your definition of getting what you want is getting a bunch of simps to buy you shit and winding up, 35 with 3 kids and alone and depressed, yeah, sure, I guess.
And then you also get turned on by a guy spending money on you, I guess I could understand. But when you say you only get turned on by a guy who's throwing money at you, I mean.
That's like the first thing. And then, then I'm curious now. Who, like, oh, okay, you're hot. Big dick energy. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. What kind of financial circumstances did you grow up under? Like, were you poor growing up?
Hell yeah. My mother was 18. My father was 21. My dad had a couple crack houses. So
We had money and cars and stuff, but it was like hood shit.
shit, you know what I mean?
My dad had a couple of crack houses.
So yeah, I ain't have no bread.
Uh-huh.
I had to get it out the mud.
I guess that does probably partially explain it.
Maybe.
I mean, just like your male role model having crack houses. I guess that's probably. It's got to explain.
Adam's just trying to make sense of this whole thing. He's like, he's trying to understand this very complex woman.
But my dad did financially take care of me my whole life until I was 21, until I finished college.
Right. But he was also basically committing genocide, destroying his own community. To make
No,
money
that was
to-
just why he was young. After, like, he went...
And no hate on people selling crack or anything, because I understand a lot. It would be unfair for me to hold your dad to that standard when a lot of the people I interview have obviously probably killed tons of people with the drugs that they were selling. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's just, an acceptable part of the culture. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, there's got to be more to this.
I don't know. What were we saying?
The thing that really kind of
That's good.
the
Yeah,
best part
interesting.
in the Kevin Samuels thing that I saw was how you tried to like basically explain how it was illegal for them to kick you out of the apartment, and he I think kind of cornered you and made you realize that actually they legally.
No, it is illegal though.
So what's going on here is she was being interviewed by Kevin Samuels before this podcast, and he was saying that because the point that she made is that if her ex-boyfriend told her to leave, that she would not do it. She'd be like, nope, I'm staying because you owe me all this shit, even though we're no longer dating. And he was like, yo, it's illegal for you to stay. Like, if your ex asks you to leave, which he's not doing, but God only knows why. But like, yo, if your ex asks you to leave, you have to leave. And now she's saying, no, it's actually illegal for him to tell me to leave. And her argument is going to get debunked real fast. Hey, if you guys are finding value from this video, then make sure to smash that like and subscribe button. All right, back to the video.
Especially during Corona. Because they were trying to, I mean, these circumstances weren't the ones I was under because the person is paying my bills happily. But he tried to say if this was a circumstance, and I'm not just gonna give in. I'm not gonna be like, okay, here you go. Like, no, like you're gonna have to wait until like I get my shit together.
Okay, but say
no, you don't. Like, I'm sorry, but like if you no longer are dating, and I'm like usually when you see when I react to these clips of like where it's like kind of like female versus male, I'm usually somewhere in between. I usually think the truth lies somewhere in the middle. Like I usually don't think like the men are right or the women are right. I think probably some combination of both. In this situation, I'm 100% taking the side of Kevin Samuels and the Red Pill guys and everyone else because like, if the guy wants her to move out, she has no right to stay in the house. This would be like the equivalent of, you get a company car while you're working at a certain job, and then whatever reason the job doesn't work out, either you quit or you get fired, whatever, you have to give that company car in. And you can't be like, yeah, I'm just gonna hang on to that company car for like 6 months or a year until I find a different job. Like you cannot do that. In no world is that allowed. Like another example, which I'm surprised no one brought up, is like if you have a girlfriend, right? Like let's say she's dating a guy and they break up and the guy's like, well, I'm just gonna keep fucking you for another 3-6 months until I get some other pussy because I can't be just like go back to jerking off. Like your pussy's so nice, like you can't expect me to go back to jerking off. So you gotta give me access to your pussy for like at least another 3-6 months, or how long do I get back my feed? Like I can't be expected to go back to just like whacking into internet porn. Like what? It's literally the same argument.
it was me. And we were dating, and I was paying for an apartment that you were living in and paying for the car, and we broke up. I would say, I'm taking it all back. And then what are you going to do? Like,
I'm going to say, get it back in blood, bitch.
yeah, and I mean,
So this is some hood rat girl, and I always say, do not fuck with hood rat girls. They're just a nightmare. Like, I don't like talking shit about her because I don't know her. Like, maybe she is a nice person, though I severely doubt it. But like, this is not the type of girl you want to date who's like, get it back in blood. Like, I'll fuck your shit up. Like, this is just kind of a hood rat mentality. Like, more of like a classy woman and be like, okay, whatever. You don't want me, then I don't want to have anything to do with you. I'm gonna go off on my own. But it's more of like the ghetto type of hood rat girls who are gonna be like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna fuck your shit up. Like, I don't know, it's just ridiculous. So this is just a caveat for all the guys. Like, even if you may think this girl's hot, which I personally think she's like average, like she's like a 6 or something like that. But if you think this type of girl's hot, if she has those kind of ghetto qualities, then you probably want to stay away, unless you like to have your shit fucked up.
probably like if I got to send some people to, kick you out of the apartment or whatever, I guess I got to do that. I hope they don't have to hurt you or whatever, but and I would like to not be there since me being part of it doesn't seem like.
I mean, yeah, don't fucking. That would be really dumb of Adam 22 to send if the roles were there for him to send like his goons to kick her out. Why not just call the police and the police would kick her out? You don't want to like obviously take the law into your own hands because then you could face a whole host of legal problems. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this whole thing, but there was this famous incident where Suge Knight. I don't know if you know who he is, but anyway, he's like this big bully in the rap community in the 90s. He came up to Akon and he was like harassing him for money, and Akon's security guy defended Akon, right? He kind of, just defended him, took kind of the law into his own hands, and then Suge Knight sued that guy for a shitload of money, and Akon had to give a massive settlement, right? So when you take the law into your own hands and you're someone who has money or means, you're putting yourself up to like a whole host of issues. So definitely don't want to be doing that. But again, I don't think Adam is like really going there.
Good idea. But like, what are you going to do?
Honestly, them things have never happened to me. But I would just imagine that I would not, I wouldn't leave easily. And I don't have a shame in saying that. Like, no, it's just not happening. You're not going to.
So you're a hoarder. Like you're a squatter. No, that's the word, squatter. That's basically like you're someone who won't leave after, they have no right to live there.
kick me out of space that you placed me in. Like, you're gonna have to wait until I'm comfortable enough or until I'm ready to do what I need.
All right, girl, but after we break up, you have to wait until I get some other pussy because I'm not comfortable going back to jerking off.
To do.
It's just so interesting you say you're not gonna, when legally it's their right to, and it's the right thing, in my opinion, for them to be able to, and there's nothing that you could do to stop them. And if the cops were called or if it was taken to court, they would rule that you were wrong. Like, what basis does this cockiness have?
I don't really know the laws, so I can't really fight that.
Right.
Yeah, like 2 minutes ago, she was saying it's illegal for them to kick her out. Now she's like, I don't know the laws. This reminds me of like It's Always Sunny, where Charlie is like, well, I'm an expert in bird law.
But I know that I'm gonna stick it out until I can't. Yeah, you're gonna have to drag me out of there. Yeah.
Right.
Here's a crazy idea. If you like having that kind of lifestyle, why don't you actually, put your mind to something and make money, and you can pay for your own shit, and then you don't have to get dragged out of things and do all this kind of low value kind of ghetto nonsense, and you can actually make it on your own. You're a capable young woman. But anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, I might already said this, but what does this guy think of all this newfound attention to his romantic situation or his financial situation, I guess? Like, what does he think of the fact that this has gotten so much attention and that it's basically about him, even though he remains anonymous?
He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He probably thinks it's cool. He hasn't really said anything.
So this is the craziest thing to me. So actually, well, I do think this girl is extremely outrageous in her logic, and this is like, she's like the poster girl for what you want to avoid in a relationship. I think actually there's much more fault in the guy, and I'll explain why. The girl, she's just taking advantage of a favorable situation, right? She's like opportunist. She sees an opportunity and she's taking advantage of it. The guy is the retard who's allowing that to happen. And I really have like no sympathy for guys who do this, who like literally or leverage their money in order to basically finance these girls' extravagant lifestyles. And they're not doing it. She's going to make the argument later on that these guys are doing it out of the goodness of their hearts. They're not. They're doing it because that's the only way they think they can attract girls. Like, if you're feeling generous, then donate your money to charity. Don't donate it to some outrageous, girl who has, frankly, never worked for a dollar in her life, most likely. So, yeah, so this, I think the fault lies in the guy, and this whole simping culture that we live in, where these guys feel the need to just fucking flaunt their money in order to get laid. They just can't. They feel like they're not able to get the girl on their own, which is, to me, really, really sad. And I think that that's the guy who actually needs more help than the girl.
Regards to it, that's negative. He's definitely said, he's a money person, so he's definitely said capitalize.
Clearly, he's not that good with his money if he's spending like $6,000 a month on your ass and you're not even banging him. So clearly, he's not that good of a money person.
He's definitely said, try to make it into something for yourself. You know what I mean? But he hasn't said anything.
Find 3 other guys that you can squat in their apartments.
Care.
That's crazy. Because I would think it would be like really embarrassing to, like, even though he hasn't been named.
Yeah, I would be like super embarrassed if I was that guy. Not that I would ever be in that situation, but like to me, that's embarrassing because he's like the butt of all the jokes. He's like the fucking simp who's falling for this nonsense, this weird scam that this girl is running. So it's the fact that this guy is not embarrassed and he's like kind of almost has positive emotions about this whole thing is pretty crazy to me.
But you'll be surprised that I've received cash apps from men after this. Like, men are in my DM sending me money who I don't even know.
Right.
This is the craziest fucking shit to me. Like, these guys are literally, and I 100% believe her when she says this because I've seen this shit firsthand. Like, these guys, like, there's random guys who have close to zero chance of ever even meeting up with her who want to just send her money. Why? Like, what are you going to get in return for that money? Like, and again, you can't make the argument that you're doing out of the goodness of your heart because that money would be much better spent on, like all the poverty that's going on in Africa, on animals, on any number of humanitarian causes where there's actual people suffering. Like, this girl is clearly not suffering. So, yeah, to me, it's just insane that there's so many guys who are willing to spend money on this, but, completely avoid real humanitarian crises that are going on in the world. So it's just fucking nuts.
We will never meet me who don't know where I live, don't know anything about me but this, what they see on the internet, and they're sending me money.
I mean, I guess it shouldn't be so hard for me to understand because the truth is that there's tons of girls out there who are like charging money for their OnlyFans, and then their OnlyFans has like pictures of them in a bikini, whatever, like not that anything that crazy. And then meanwhile, you could log right on to Pornhub and search that girl's name and see her getting fucked in the ass, whatever. And dude's still like, I mean, if you're paying for the OnlyFans, you kind of are just paying her for no reason, realistically,
know
because
what
there's crazier shit on Pornhub. Not for every girl, obviously. Like, I mean, I'm sure you're not on there, but
No.
I mean,
Not yet.
I guess it shouldn't surprise me so much that guys just want to give money to girls for nothing, but I can't escape it. It's just baffling to me.
I don't think it's for
I
nothing.
agree. It's fucking baffling to me too. I mean, it's so fucking baffling how there's so many, and I don't like using the word simp, but how there's so many simps out there who are literally dumb enough. And like, if you're a guy who sends money randomly to a girl for whatever reason, then you are a retard, and like, you really need to do something, better than whatever the fuck you're doing now. Like, I just think that's like the epitome of patheticness, is that if you're sending money to random chicks, just to me is just like so sad.
I think it's for just them existing, and I feel like, don't a lot of what's Patreon? Don't people, like men or whoever watch you, give money to people just to listen to you?
Patreon.
The argument she makes here is so fucking dumb. So she's saying that, well, what I got going on is equivalent to what you got going on because you have a Patreon and people pay you money. No, it's not the same. So Adam is providing, he's going to make this argument, he's providing a service. So people are paying, him in exchange for his service, which is, access to exclusive only content, whatever, bonus, premiums, stuff like that, right? And some people are paying because they really support him because they found a lot of value in his work, right? So it's a value exchange. There's no value exchange here. They're just giving her value, and she's not giving any value back. So that's the problem here.
.com/nojumper. Yes, but I mean, there's a lot of content on the Patreon that's like exclusive that they don't have access to.
Right,
we can do naked girl stuff on there. We can do, all kinds of drug types.
And
Not that we have yet, but we're going to.
And so they find value, even, you know what I mean? But a person like me would be like, why would I pay for this? You know what I mean? Like you said, when I can go on Pornhub, or
Right,
I can listen to this on YouTube for free or whatever. So that's the part that I don't get, because even on Fresh and Fit podcast, I didn't want to like put them on blast, but I was like, aren't you men paying to watch men? Like, I don't get it.
It's not the same at all. Again, value exchange, it's a fair value exchange, or more or less, you can think of it as fair, versus this is a one-way value transfer. So guys are just giving her value, she's giving nothing back. So no, it's not the same at all.
Why wouldn't you pay a woman, like, if you liked her or if you had interest in her? Like, what's the difference?
Well, first of all, because if you like a woman and you pay her, you actually have less likelihood of getting the woman, so you're actually fucking yourself over. Second of all, because you're wasting your money. Third of all, because you're reinforcing a really fucked up, system where guys have to pay for it. So there's so many reasons why you should not be sending money to a random woman if you're a guy.
Well, I mean, the difference is that, like, if somebody, and apparently there are many people who are open to this, but if there's people who watch my podcast and they want to see more of the podcast, or they want to see some extra content, or, some people do it out of the goodness of their heart, because the reality is
Exactly.
that you could be a huge fan of No Jumper and it costs $0. Like, for you
Same thing with Playing with Fire.
Everything on YouTube for free. Some people see that, they realize at a certain point, like, oh, they have all these expenses, they have all these employees, maybe I want to give them $5 a month.
Preach, brother.
That will help make their whole operation easier.
Same here. So some people see a beautiful woman and they're
Except
like, maybe I want to
except you have no operation. You're giving zero value to the world.
her a car because that's going to help her get from point A to point B. Maybe I want to put her in a house because she's going to be sheltered, and it's going to be because of me that this is happening. The same exact thing.
But I think there's a big difference between like a podcast that you get a ton of enjoyment out of and that occupies like many, many hours out of your week versus like just a random woman just having a car or just living in a house. Like, it just seems like much, much less common sense to want to support.
Really? I think it depends on who you are and what you like to support. So some people may like to support a podcast, and some people like to support women.
No, it's not that they like to support women. It's because they're supporting you because they think that gives them a chance with you. They're doing it purely for selfish reasons. They're not doing it for, just out of the kindness of their heart. They're doing it because they think maybe that gives them a chance with you, right? And that's really, really fucking sad because it's not practical at all. And even if you could, at that point, you're much better off just getting a prostitute because you're guaranteed to get something for your money. But they think that, they're so needy and they're so lonely and they're so desperate, that's the only way they can get affection. So they're not doing it out of the goodness of their heart. Like, for example, someone who supports the No Jumper podcast. So yeah, this is just coming from a completely different place, and thus it's not even close to the same thing. And it's baffling that you can't even understand that. Like, if this chick was like, yeah, you know what, like, she's like, we live in a world where men are super desperate, and, I'm just profiting from that. I would have much more respect for her than if she's just kind of like playing dumb here and being like, well, you know, these guys just want to help me, they want to support me. No, they don't. Like, they just want to fuck you, but they, you know, they can't, and so that's their next best thing.
Woman having a nice car.
Yeah, and that makes men feel good. Listen, the other day, with the taxi situation, I was about to say that story. Came off the flight to Miami. My phone was dead, so I had no choice but to talk to this person. I was annoyed at first. He's
so bad to talk to a person. I know.
Talking to me, telling me about the cars that he has, and I'm like, can you buy me a car? And at first he's laughing, like, ha ha ha, whatever. And I'm like, I'm really serious. I really need a car. Like, my car is messed up, you know, bullshitting, whatever. And, yeah, so I exchanged. So then we were talking, you know, we continued to talk, but he wasn't really jacking it, like, during our initial, like, car ride. Gave him my phone number. He's literally been calling me the last 5-6 days trying to get me to meet him at the dealership, but I've been so busy running around with everything that I haven't had the chance.
Okay, how sad is this fucking shit? And I truly believe this story because I can imagine this happening with so many guys. So literally, this guy is begging her to let her buy him a car. Please meet me at the car dealership so I can buy your car, so I can spend my money on you. Like, how fucking pathetic is this? And chances are this guy's not even a baller. He's not even rich. He's probably a guy who's making, you know, ends meet, and he's gonna blow like his fucking retirement account on this random girl who's not gonna bang him and who's just not gonna have any kind of, you know, relationship with, whether it's platonic or romantic. So to me, this whole thing is just so sad. I think like this really speaks on the sadness of the state of men, you know, in 2021. And this is why I think what we're doing at Playing with Fire is really important, because if we can help guys realize that they're being retards by falling for this nonsense and help them gain, you know, game and self-confidence, actually be successful with girls without having to try to beg random chicks to let them buy them cars, that's a good thing for society. Because this chick is only able to be this level of entitled because there's guys who are enabling that. If guys didn't enable this chick would not be able to be, you know, doing what she's doing now. So the system only works. Like, you can try to blame the girls, like, oh, this chick is such a massive sugar baby, but it's a two-way street. It only is able to work that way because the guys are enabling it. So, you know, it's kind of like, you can't just blame the girl. You have to blame the guy as well if you want to, you know, blame anyone.
Every single day. Are you going to meet me today at the dealership? Are you going to meet me today at the dealership? Are you going to meet me today at the dealership? That he wants to get me a car. Don't know this person. Literally had a 1-hour taxi ride that I didn't have to pay for.
If you're driving a taxi, you're not making enough money to buy a random woman a car.
Agreed.
I mean, I don't know. Some people, you don't know.
So this guy's a taxi driver, so chances are he probably has like 3 kids and no money. He's gonna literally, like, his kids are not gonna be able to go to college because this random fucking entitled sugar baby is gonna have a nice new Mercedes. So yeah, like, this is just like so outrageous.
I mean, you kind of do that. Like, driving a cab is not the best job. I've watched YouTube videos about people who drive Uber and shit. They make like, you know, $500 a week, whatever. I mean, it's cool,
according to him, he has an X, whatever the fuck, BMW. He has a Porsche. He, you know what I mean? He put his daughter through school cash. You know what I mean? So whatever money he has saved up, maybe, I don't know what's his financial situation, but I know he wants to get me a car. And when I go home, I know I'm gonna go get my car.
Does it stand out to you that there's maybe like a possibility that he might like eventually stalk you or like do some creepy shit or rape you or something like that? Because that to me, that's like the first thing that comes to mind. Anytime somebody tries to offer me something for free, is just alarm.
You think they want to rape you?
Yes. No. Alarm bells go off in my head. Like, okay, I have guys come up to me and they say, "Oh, I own this place, and we'll let you have fucking whatever rental car you want." Just like.
So it kind of ends off here, but what he's talking about now is that how basically he doesn't feel comfortable taking free shit from people because, you know, then you feel like you owe them something. It's just not kind of the vibe you want to have. And I very much agree with this. I think that's like a successful frame to have, like a mindset. Is like, you don't want to be just like trying to get free shit from people. You actually want to be able to provide for yourself, and you want to give, but you don't want to take, right? Which is kind of how I feel as well. Versus she's all about taking. I want to take, but I really don't want to give. So again, like this, first of all, it's not going to make her happy. And the whole thing, I just think is really fucking sad, both on her part and the guy's part. So Blue Jasmine, good fucking job. All right, hopefully you guys found this video entertaining. And if you guys want to see more awesome content on this channel, then just subscribe below. Seriously, just hit the subscribe button right now. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time.